Well, let's bring in Sun, Senior Fellow and Co-Director for China East Studies at the Stimson Center. So let's begin with the big picture, if you will. Your expectations for the next year. Can we expect more stable U.S.-China relations or more unpredictable one, a more confrontational one?
Well, thank you for having me. I think under President Trump, unpredictability is always going to be a factor in any calculation or in any policy matter. That things could go well, and then things could take a very unexpected turn, depending on what the White House priority is for the day. But I think in general, people are expecting some serious stabilization of bilateral relations, given the fact that we know that at least there will be reciprocal visits between the two presidents of each other's country. And along that, there could potentially be more meetings between the two leaders, right? So the general atmosphere and the expectation are certainly very positive moving down the road.
And what about areas of cooperation in the coming year? We know that clearly there's so many things these two countries disagree on, but there are also areas of cooperation.
I think the biggest item for cooperation on the mind of Washington, of course, is to address the trade imbalance. Last year, the trade imbalance between U.S. and China is $350 billion U.S. dollars. I think we'll have to look at what this year's number is like. But for the Trump administration to correct the trade imbalance is certainly going to be a top priority, and that will require Chinese cooperation. For example, Chinese purchase of Boeing airplane, of agriculture products, of U.S. energy products. Cooperation is indispensable in that sense. But talking about bigger issues of global common or global common challenges faced by the human race, like climate change, well, I think that's going to be a little more questionable because Trump administration does not subscribe to the theory of climate change. So it really depends on the issue. But in the bilateral relationship framework, there is definitely room for cooperation.
Do you think the Trump administration has learned any lessons from its policies in 2025, especially when it comes to trade and tariffs?
Well, I think the lessons have clearly been learned, and the biggest lesson is China is not where it was back in 2018 when the trade war first started under the first Trump administration. China is in a much more resilient position, is much better prepared compared to 7 years ago to handle the impact of the tariff war and also handle the U.S. trade sanctions.
Where do you see the competition over artificial intelligence? China and the U.S., without any doubt, are by far the world's leading AI powers.
Yes, they are. And the technological competition has been ongoing, and it will only intensify down the road. U.S. and China have adopted quite different models in terms of the AI development. In the U.S. is led by private sectors. We're seeing Meta, we're seeing Google, these private companies developing their own AI models. And in China, the government subsidy or the state involvement in the AI development has been a key factor to the support that the AI sector in China has received. But I would say that this type of competition is a long game, right? It's not going to transpire into a clear winner or loser in the next 6 to 12 months, or not even in the next 3 years. For these, we're testing and we're competing in terms of the basic, fundamental, essential national infrastructure and what these two nations are afforded in terms of their innovation, their creativity, and their private sector development.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Sun, thank you very much.